Welcome everyone to Canadian Yoga here, and we are back with another Canadian Yoga live stream. And in this live stream, we are going over some interesting news. I wanted to bring this live stream to everybody on online because I wanted to talk about just to do a change of pace and so I decided that we're going to be doing a live stream on soccer, and I know it's been a while since I've done some soccer updates. It's been about a month or so, so it's been a long time. So I'm bringing this news to you to basically update you on some of the interesting information coming out about the World Cup. This is going to be next year in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. So I have as well, I also have some information about the Women's World Cup as well. So let's get into this article here. You can see, look, I'm looking at this screen that it's not the screen, but the website that that some of this information is kind of about a month old. So I'm kind of going back and bringing this information to some of us, or to some that are not aware of this. Um, so I happened to catch this in the news in March. This is May. We're in May, so that's about like 2 months ago. But I do remember watching um, the Bloomberg News, and I remember watching the news about the U.S. President Donald Trump. He had uh, he was in discussion with Gianni Infantino, and Gianni Infantino, because they were coming to the FIFA's coming to the U.S. Gianni Infantino had gotten uh, reassurance from President Trump that he would that everything would be running pretty smoothly in the U.S. So in this article from InsideFIFA.com that was written March 7th, 2025, it goes over the details of all that was all about. So it says here, U.S. President Donald Trump reaffirmed support for FIFA tournaments during meeting with Gianni Infantino. Um, so let's get into this. President So, President of the United States sets up task force during White House meeting with the FIFA President Gianni Infantino. The task force will oversee preparations for the FIFA Club World Cup 2025 and FIFA World Cup 2026. The tournaments are anticipated to have an economic impact in the region of the U.S. dollars $40 billion with 200,000 jobs created. So, according to this article, it says here. FIFA President Gianni Infantino, in a visit to the White House in Washington, D.C., has met the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and thanked him for setting a special task force to oversee preparations for the FIFA Club World Cup 2025 and the FIFA World Cup 2026, saying it reaffirms the American government's commitment to hosting the two events. During the meeting, President Trump signed the executive order to create the task force, which he will head himself and will coordinate with federal agencies to plan and execute the hosting of the tournaments, which will change the face of world football. Um, so it says, continuing, the FIFA president also presented Mr. Trump the FIFA Club World Cup 2025 trophy, a jewel that represents the pinnacle of global club football, which will be presented to the official FIFA Club World Cup champions on Sunday, July 13th in New York, New Jersey. Um, the FIFA, I'm pretty sure the person meant in New York, not New York, New Jersey, because New York is in, New York City is in New York, and New Jersey is a state. So I'm pretty sure that's what that person meant. The FIFA World Cup 2026 will be to be hosted with Canada and Mexico from June 11th to July 19th, 2026, and will be the biggest and most inclusive in the tournament's history, with 48 teams participating in 104 matches across 16 cities. which Mr. Infantino compared to staging 3 Super Bowls a day for 1 month. So this is going to be a major event in the United States, Mexico, and Canada for FIFA. Um, and also for I know Americans, some Americans are not really fans of soccer, but soccer has been a growing sport in the U.S. and it is getting popular each year. Continuing the article, it says here, Mr. Infantino said that the two tournaments were set to have a total economic impact in the region of US dollars 40 billion US dollars, with 200,000 jobs created for a tournament that will welcome over 10 million people. That would be quite a big number of people. Mr. Infantino said, quote, America will welcome the world. There will be millions of people coming, Mr. President, millions of people. And more than that, we will give a joy and happiness to the entire world. And this is priceless, definitely. So thank you, Mr. President, for setting up this task force because it is important that everyone comes to America feels safe, feels welcome. And that's why it's important that the government puts together this White House task force chaired by the President of the United States himself. FIFA President added, we are here to create and to make the best show on the planet ever, and we'll do it together, Mr. President. President Trump said it was an honor for the U.S. to host the tournaments and he intended to attend matches. I would like to go, certainly more than one. We'll be making the rounds. It's a period of a month and it's really top of the line. It's one of the great events of anywhere in the world. He added, I love what you do. I love what you said. It's like 3 Super Bowls a day for a month. That's what it is. In January 2025, Mr. Trump welcomed the FIFA president to his residence in Florida, where they discussed the hosting of the two tournaments. Gianni Infantino said he also visited the White House during Mr. Trump's first presidency and was present at his inauguration as the 47th president in Washington, D.C. on January 20th, 2025. So there we have it, guys. So we have the Club World Cup 2025 that's happening this year, and next year it will be the 2026 World Cup that is going to occur in next year in the U.S. So pretty exciting times for people who love soccer. This is a great time to get your things going. So further information about the 2026 World Cup. I'm giving you guys some more further information. This article was written on March 26, 2025. So it says here, 2026 World Cup dates, venues, expanded format, schedule, and who has qualified for the tournament. So I believe I've covered this in the past. I've covered who has qualified already thus far. I have not covered uh, the dates or the format. I think the format has changed and a little bit. So in this article, it's going to explain some more deeper, a little bit more deeper details about the format of the World Cup, of the 2026 World Cup. So let's get into it here. So it says the 2026 Men's World Cup will be the biggest in tournament's history. By this way, this article is written on SkySports.com, so you can definitely check it out. I posted the links to each of the articles that I am reading about in the description box, so anyone can read them. So don't be afraid to read them for yourself. So let's get into it here. An expanded World Cup will feature 48 teams now, 16 more than in the Qatar 2022 World Cup, and will take place across 3 host nations for the first time. So there will be 48 teams now competing in the World Cup. England, under the new boss Thomas Tuchel, know their qualifying schedule after the draw was made in December 2024, but the road to 2026 has already begun in other continents. From format to key dates, here's what you need to know about the football's next global showpiece. Alright, so let's get into this. When is the 2026 World Cup? The 2026 FIFA's Men's World Cup takes place from June 11th to July 19th, 2026. It will be the 23rd edition of the tournament. So keep that date in mind. Make sure you're marking on the schedule. June 11th to July 19th. I'm sorry, 2026 next year. Um, where is it? Where is the World Cup taking place? The 2026 tournament will take place across 16 cities in three North American countries: the United States, Canada, and Mexico. It is the first time a World Cup has been hosted by three nations. The last time North America hosted the tournament was in 1994 when Brazil triumphed after beating Italy on penalties. So here are the World Cup, the 2026 World Cup venues, host cities, and stadiums. In the United States, it will be held in Dallas Stadium, Arlington, Texas, and that holds 94,000 people. New York, New Jersey Stadium, that's East West Rutherford, New Jersey. So it will be held in East Rutherford, New Jersey. That's in MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. They're not getting the correct location properly, but it will be held in MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. A capacity has 82,500 people. Atlanta Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, that hosts 75,000 people. Kansas City Stadium, that's in Kansas City, Missouri. Houston Stadium, that's in Houston, Texas. San Francisco Bay Area Stadium, Santa Clara, California. Los Angeles Stadium, Inglewood, California. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Seattle, Washington, Foxborough, Massachusetts, Miami Gardens, Florida. That's in Miami. And so the majority of it will be held in the United States. But in Canada, we're going to be having it in two places: in Toronto, Canada, and in Vancouver, British Columbia. Um, Mexico will be holding three locations: Estadio Azteca, Mexico City, Mexico, Guadalupe, Mexico, Zapopan, Mexico. So you can see there. So the majority of the World Cup will be held across the United States, all the way from uh, on the East Coast to the South, all the way to the West Coast. And so let's see. So there's a format. There's a change in the format of the World Cup in 2026. A bumper lineup of nations means there will be 104 matches for football fans to feast on for 40 more than Qatar. So there will be 104 matches. That's quite a number of matches. As a consequence, the knockout stage will start with a round of 32. The previous format of 32 teams and 8 groups has been replaced by one featuring 12 groups of 4. The top 2 teams in each group plus the 8th best third place teams will advance to the round of 32. So that's what we know about the format. So we're starting out with the qualifying matches, 104 matches. That will be whittled down to 32. And then that will be replaced with 12 groups of 4, which that's quite a number. Um, so how does World Cup qualifying work? Nations from UEFA, CONMEBOL, the South American section, CONCACAF, North Central and Caribbean, AFC, Asian Football Confederation, OFC, Oceania Football Confederation, CAF, Confederation of African Football, will all stage their own qualifying campaigns. Finalist slots are divided as follows: AFC has 8 slots, CAF has 9 slots, CONCACAF has 6 slots, CONMEBOL has 6 slots. OFC has 1 slot, and UEFA has 16 slots. Qualifying from Oceania concludes in March 2025, while CONMEBOL, featuring Brazil and holders Argentina, will finish in September 2025. The CAF and CONCACAF finalists will be determined in November 2025, with UEFA's European qualifiers concluding in March 2026. The final 2 slots will be filled through an inter-confederation playoff. A tournament involving 6 teams will take place in March 2026. 1 team per confederation, apart from UEFA, plus 1 additional team from the confederation of the host countries. And according to this, we have in the AFC, has a number of Asian Federation has a number of Asian nations from Kyrgyzstan, Iran, North Korea. All these teams have some of them have already played against each other. So it looks like Kyrgyzstan beat Qatar, Iran and Uzbekistan tied. North Korea lost to the UAE. South Korea and Jordan tied. Oman beat Kuwait. Um, so it looks like some of these have already started already. Um, and so according to this article, you know, I guess some of you who are watching online can look at this and see for yourself about how, if you're from one of these countries, you can look and see how your country is doing and kind of look at, well, are they going to make it into the World Cup or are they not? Because there's a number of countries that are playing against each other. Um, I mean, this is pretty very detailed thing here. So we're just going to skip down that past that. It says World Cup schedule. So here's the schedule. The full fixture list with group games and the kickoff games will only be available after the draw for the final tournament, which FIFA says is expected to take place toward the end of 2025. But FIFA has already announced key dates and confirmed that the opening match will be held in Mexico City, with the final taking place at New York and MetLife Stadium, home of the New York Giants and New York Jets. So the group stage is going to be on June 27th. From June 11th to June 27th, and then according to this, since the round of 32 will be from June 28th to July 3rd, then we have the round of 16. Okay, so it basically goes. That's the format that we have right there for. Um, that's the format right there for the World Cup, basically for the whole entire month from June 11th to July 19th. So it's going to be a pretty intense sports event, going happening in 2026 next year. So let's get into the next article here. I'm just kind of skipping past that article because it's pretty going into a lot of details about the World Cup, and I did post a description box about what about the that about the all the articles that I'm reading here. So if you guys are interested in reading up on it, you definitely can check it out for yourself, and don't be afraid to do so. Um, so let's get into this next one. FIFA has a ticket deal for the 2025 World Cup and the 2026 World Cup. So here's what you need to know. This article was written last month, April 3rd, 2025, from USAToday.com. So here's the article. It says here, want tickets to the FIFA World Cup in 2026? Buying tickets to this summer's World Cup, FIFA World Cup, Club World Cup could get you into next year's summer tournament. FIFA announced two options for the ticket packages that grant access to both tournaments. Tickets went on sale Thursday and will be available until April 28th, which already passed, of course. So here are the options. Um, we have a ticket pack. This package involves one ticket per match to two Club World Cup 2025 matches with the option to add one ticket to a third match at an additional cost. The purchaser of a ticket packet uses all tickets to attend all matches included in the ticket pack will be granted a guaranteed option to buy one ticket to the FIFA World Cup 26 match in the United States, excluding the final. Super Ticket Pack. This package includes one ticket per match to 20 Club World Cup 2025 matches, which include a semi-final and either the opening final or the final. The purchaser of a Super Ticket Pack who uses all tickets to attend all matches included in the Super Ticket Pack will be granted a guaranteed option to buy one ticket for the FIFA World Cup 2026 final. So, kind of interesting that they have these two options here, especially the one about the super ticket pack, which I think may cost a bit of cash, but you could possibly see if you buy it, you could definitely attend the final, tournament match, which would be really cool to do. Um, so it says here, the World Cup, the Club World Cup and World Cup ticket promotion applies only to ticket packages sold on FIFA.com/tickets, not to any other FIFA Club World Cup 2025 tickets. Fans should visit the FIFA ticketing portal for the details on match combinations and the terms and conditions to purchase a ticket for the World Cup 2026. Fans are responsible for their own travel arrangements, including obtaining visas and getting entry to the United States according to FIFA's announcements. Um, the 2025 Club World Cup begins with Lionel Messi and Inter Miami on the center stage against Egypt club Al Ahly on June 14th at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. The final will be on July 13th at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The 2026 World Cup begins June 11th, 2026 in Mexico and ends with the final at MetLife Stadium in June on June 19th, 2026. So the final match will be in Newark, in East Rutherford, MetLife Stadium on June 19th, 2026. So that's pretty exciting. It definitely, if anyone's a big soccer fan, this would be a really good opportunity to, to get to buy your tickets if you still can. I'm pretty sure you can still get the tickets if possible. I know that this is going to be a difficult time for, especially if nobody is from the United States. Um, I'll say that it might be maybe hard to get into the United States because of what's going on politically in the political world right now. And at the same time, dealing with immigration and ICE and all that stuff. But hopefully, if anyone's interested, as long as anyone has a good record, they can still get in and still have a good time, minus all that political hoopla that's happening all over the world. So don't be afraid to come here and have a good time, despite all the hoopla that's happening. Um, so there we have information about the tickets and the tickets that's occurring. I mean, if you don't want to come to the United States, you can definitely go to Canada and Mexico, catch a few matches, and that's definitely doable. So don't be afraid to do that. So we have talked about the World Cup from the men's side. Now I'm going to make a switch, and I'm going to be switch talking about a little bit, and then I'll talk about the Women's World Cup. So, according to this article right here, that was written um, on May 9th, um, this just like a few days ago, and this is just updated news. FIFA is going to expand the Women's World Cup by to 48 teams in 2031, and I'm just making a switch here because the 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 year after 2026, after World Cup 2026, in 2027, the Women's World Cup will be held in Brazil in 2027. And so, and in the article it says it right here, Brazil's tournament in 2027 will be last to use the 32 team format. So in 2031, in 2031, I apologize for that. Take that phone call. In 2031, the format will be changed to 48 teams. There's going to be have 16 new teams that are going to be added to into the into the Women's World Cup, which is I think this is a big thing. We're actually going to see more teams competing and soccer is a global sport. So now you have to see more women actually competing in the Women's World Cup and making changes, making waves. I mean, I think this is a good thing, and in all honesty, because you know, we actually need to see more of this occur. And soccer is a big thing that unites a lot of people everywhere, regardless of where they're from. People come together to cheer on their country, to cheer on a team, to win the championship, and this is quite interesting to me. I think because I think that this is a great thing. Um, so let's just get into the article here. So this is from localmemphis.com, and this article was written May 9th in 2025. So it says FIFA confirms Women's World Cup will increase to 48 teams in 2031 when the U.S. is expected to host. So the next tournament for Women's World Cup will be in 2027, and then 2031 will be the next tournament. That's the next tournament. That's after 2027. Um, so let's get into this here. Um, so it says here, Zurich, Netherlands, the Women's World Cup will increase to 48 teams in 2031 when the United States is expected to host the tournament. FIFA confirmed on Friday. FIFA has wanted to expand the women's tournament from 32 teams to match the Men's World Cup, which has 48 teams for the first time next year, when the U.S. will host with Canada and Mexico. The decision follows 1 month after FIFA President Gianni Infantino said it had just one candidate bidding for each of the 2031 and 2035 Women's World Tournaments, the U.S. followed by the United Kingdom. FIFA is expected to confirm these two hosts next year. Brazil will host a 32-team Women's World Cup in 2027, as I just said. FIFA said the bigger 104-game format with 48 teams will significantly broaden representation, offering more nations and players access to elite competition and accelerating investment in women's world football worldwide. Um, Growing up, the Women's World Cup had just 16 teams as recently as the 2011 edition in Germany, 24 teams at each of the next two tournaments in Canada and France, and then 32 teams for the first time in 2023, hosted by Australia and New Zealand. The 2023 edition defied concerns the tournament had grown too fast, would have too many overmatched teams, and too many lopsided results. In 2019, the defending champion U.S. team beat Thailand 13-0 in the opening group stage game. In 2023, the biggest win was the Netherlands beating Thailand 7-0, and the tournament set a new standard for global competitiveness, Infantino said Friday in a statement, because teams from all confederations won at least one game, and teams from 5 confederations reached the knockout stage. I gotta say, Thailand definitely has to step up its game in this upcoming World Cup. I mean, getting beaten by I know the women's soccer, national soccer team is a pretty good team. But Thailand definitely has to have more fight in them, and they definitely can improve. And getting beaten by the Netherlands, man, I mean, honestly, Thailand definitely has to put in the work in in this upcoming World Cup. They just have to keep playing and getting better. Honestly, I mean, I've had a reading for the underdog here, but yeah, definitely that's got to happen for sure. But maybe we'll definitely see maybe Thailand will win World Cup one day. That will happen. But let's continue. Um, so continuing, I said here, Players Union welcomes expansion plan. The expected expansion plan was welcomed by the Global Players Union FIFA, it's called for inclusive decision making and cooperative planning. Um, yes, quote unquote. Also said, quote, the Netherlands-based union said, quote unquote, it is critical that the global development of women's competitions goes hand in hand with improved labor conditions and the advancement of players, as well as development further down the pyramid. This is the only path to true sustainability, expansion, and progress. Close quote. In recent years, FIFA has planned as updated and improved contractual protections for players and coaches during pregnancy and after giving birth. Um, so that's kind of interesting. One of the reasons why I cover and I have an interest in Women's World Cup is because of, it's just different from Men's World Cup. But at the same time, I find it really interesting how, you know, some of these players are married, some of these players are mothers, and some of them are not. But the fact that some of these players that are still that have families, they still can come back and compete in tournaments and possibly win a championship for their country. I think that's a great thing. You know, that gives people the incentive to really work hard and get better at what they do. So I'm all for that. That's a wonderful thing to see. Um, so then we have the news about the FIFA actually expanding its for the Women's World Cup. They're going to increase the team to 48 team format and possibly have the 104 matches just like the men's tournament does. So this is going to be really interesting. So let's continue. I know I'm rambling on here. This is going to be the last article that I'm covering for today. Um, this is kind of old news, but I just wanted to. I know this. It says in yellow, right, in bold yellow. This article is more than a month old. Yes, yes, we know that. But I wanted to bring an updated news to everyone out there about the. I think I mentioned about the United States facing Brazil in this tournament. Um, just give me 1 second, guys. I need to do something. 1 minute. Oh, I'm so sorry, everybody. Um, it's just that time of year. I know my nose. I'm probably online. I probably sound very stuffy. My, it's just that time of year with allergies and dealing with all that stuff. So, uh, excuse me. I wanted to apologize for that, but let's just get back into it. It's that time of year, just dealing with allergies, and I'm getting through it. But you know what I'm talking about. But I wanted to get into this article here, talking about the United States facing the team Brazil. I think it was like they played in a series of 3 games. I think the Brazil beat the United States 1 game, and then the second game, I think I covered that game. The second game, the United States beat Brazil. In the third game, we're going to be covering this third game in this article here. The Brazil actually beat the United States in this third game, so that Brazil won the series 2 games to 1 in this format here. And our favorite, I think one of our, let's just read this article here. So this was April 9th, 2025, on the Associated Press. The U.S. women's national soccer team lose for the second time in 3 games after Brazil's late game winner. And I happened to watch this game on Peacock. I watched the whole game. Um, the United States was going pretty strong. In the first minute of the game, the United States scored a goal against Brazil, and they were up 1-0. It was a really fast um, goal. I think it was like within the first 30 seconds of the game, the United States actually scored a goal against Brazil, and we're looking to press Brazil and get the win. But Brazil came back and scored on them, and then they tied the game up 1-1. And then later in the game, in the very last minute of the game, the last few minutes of the game, Brazil scored a late game winner against the United States and won the game. I watched the whole game on Peacock. Of course, Peacock streams soccer, women's soccer on there. So not only women's soccer, but they also stream English Premier League games on there as well. They also stream Women's World Cup games as well. So in the Olympics as well. So that's how I was able to watch some of it. But let's get into this article here. Excuse me. Amanda Gutierrez scored in stoppage time, and Brazil defeated the United States 2-1 on Tuesday night for the team's first victory over the Americans since 2014. It was the second of two friendlies between the two teams, who were meeting for the first time since the United States beat Brazil 1-0 in the gold medal game at last year's Summer Olympics, which I covered before. Katarina Maricario put the U.S. in front just 34 seconds into the match. That's what I just said. It's 34 seconds into the first period. They scored a goal. Alyssa Thompson was tackled after a surging run from the left, and Macario pounced on the loose ball before ramming it past Brazil goalkeeper Natasha, who was making just her fourth start. It was Macario's 10th goal for the national team. Brazil drew even with Caroline's goal from a distance and in the 24th minute. It was just the ninth goal that the United States had allowed since Emma Hayes took over as coach last May. The Tourists, who came off the bench in the second half, scored off a cross from Luani deep into stoppage time. It was the first victory for a CONMEBOL team over the Americans on American soil. Brazil had not defeated the Americans since December 2014, so they have not won against the United States in what 10 years? It's been a while. I feel that I feel this is what Mrs. Thompson said, but I feel like in the first half we had a lot of chances that we could have put away. She also said, "quote I think the game got away from us in the second half. In the second half, we needed to get more control of the ball, but kind of take the momentum away from them." McGlynn, who was making her third start for the national team, Hayes started battling Tua's Joyce in the first half against Brazil as she had its goalkeepers following the retirement of Alyssa Naher. McLean said, quote, "We just kept Brazil hanging in it, and obviously with a very passionate team, they take it all the way. I think we could have been a little more front-footed all the way through the second half." Trinity Rodman, who scored in Saturday's 2-0 win at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, did not dress for the match at San Jose's PayPal Park as a precaution after returning from a back injury. Trinity Rodman was part of the team's formidable front trio nicknamed the Triple Espresso at the Olympics. Sophia Smith, who now goes by her married name Wilson, is on maternity leave, and Natalie Swanson is not with the team for personal reasons. Alyssa and Giselle started together for the second time. Sorry. They are the first starters to start for the United States since Sam and Christy Lewis in July 2021. Emma Hayes made several changes to her lineup from Saturday's match. The U.S. starters averaged 17.9 appearances with the national team, the fewest for any starting group in 24 years. The United States have lost two of their last three games. The Americans also fell to Japan in the She Believes Cup final in late February. Their next two games are against China on May 31st in St. Paul, Minnesota, and June 3rd in St. Louis, Missouri. All right, guys. The next game, I think that game against China already passed by. And actually, it's going to be coming up pretty soon in May 31st, and then June 3rd, um, they're going to be playing against China. Okay, so they're playing against China on May 31st and against China again on June 3rd. So apparently, the U.S. women's national team is going to be playing against the China pretty soon, so we might be able to catch a match or two. Um, so there we have it, guys. I just gave you guys some information, updated information about some things going on the men's World Cup side and also on the women's World Cup side. So I wanted to just share this information with everyone out there about what's going on so far in the soccer world and update you all about it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section about what this news is all about. And just like I said, I'm doing this live stream to bring more information to you about what's going on out there and kind of diversifying what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm here to do. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section regarding some of these updates and what you what what you would want to do if you're planning to go to the World Cup. Um, I still haven't made a decision about it, but we'll have to see what's going to happen going forward. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and I will see you in the next